I first met Mika at a PAS convention. That's a Percussive Arts Society convention. And a friend of mine that I went to school with, Bill Kahn, introduced us. And he's in a percussion group called Nexus. I went to school with a lot of these guys. And I was performing at the PAS function. And Mika expressed, like a desire to someday maybe play some music together. And then we both went our separate ways, and we, communicated through email, or actually, she actually did a lot of emails to my wife, Carol, who relayed messages to me. And to make a long story short, eventually we were able to get our schedules together, and we did some playing in Japan with Eddie Gomez and Peter Stoltzman and Dick. Dick was there too the first time. And we played music that had been written for Mika, and we tried some new arrangements that Peter had done, and some classical pieces, and it was we ended up having a lot of fun, and I got to understand Mika's passion and her energy and her drive and her desire to play music, and up until then she had been doing mostly classical pieces, and her dream was to start doing more music that was groove oriented. And I think we had done, we did a few more concerts another time in Japan, and then she wanted to do an album, asked me to produce an album, and I wasn't, I was unprepared, but I was interested because I love Mika. I like her energy, and if I could help her out, I wanted to do that, and so did Eddie. And so Mika and I started listening to, after a tour that we did in Japan, I extended my stay and stayed in Japan longer, and we just started doing some pre-production. And I played a lot of different kinds of music that I thought she might be interested in. And I have a friend in Japan. His name is Yoshimi Wakabayashi, and I've known him since I first went to Japan. And he's like a music historian. He's got a great library of records and CDs, and he was very helpful in getting us to be able to hear the music that we were talking about, and so we started picking songs, and Mika started to tell me about musicians that she liked and music that she wanted to play. I started playing arrangements of different things that I had done, and eventually we came up with a list of songs that we were both interested in trying to pursue, and I had worked with a keyboard player in Sweden. His name is Anders Wick. I had done his album, and he was very good with. I gave him the songs and my ideas, and he recorded them in his home studio, on a piano that was a synthesizer, and then we'd go back and forth and revised them as we went along. And we finally had, and he did demos with, you know, with the sound of the marimba, so Mika could hear what our ideas were, and eventually we ended up with some arrangements, and we did some things. I did some drum tracks in Sweden, and then we did more in New York, and it was we worked really hard, and it ended up being a nice album. And it was challenging for me to try and make an album, or help Mika make an album that was going to be not just classical music for the instruments. So, and we had a lot of fun, and so now we're doing some shows, some concerts, playing some of the old stuff that Mika used to do, and some of the stuff from the new album. And I know that Mika wants to start thinking about another album, so that sort of brings us up to date. We're going to Japan in August, and for a couple of weeks with Eddie Gomez and a keyboard player named Stefan Karlsson. Stefan Karlsson. I haven't played with Stefan, but I've heard great things about him. And we're going to play some of the old and some of the new music, and then come back and play in a club in New York that I've never been to before, but I've heard about. And that'll be at the beginning of September. So that's the story up till now.